afternoon, everybody. I am coming to you not from the studio, so it's all going to be a mess. And I wasn't planning on going live at all, but I'm going to because we did something kind of cool. And there are some people in the group that will really care about this. Certainly, there are some recipients that we work with that will definitely care about this. So if you see this and you're on Facebook or YouTube, say hi. I'm going to post here to make sure. Sometimes we have to post to the things to make sure they're working. So there you go. I also posted it to the Facebook group. I'm going to have to watch that one separate because for some reason it does not like to show me the comments from that. So I will get to that. So let's talk real quick about Headmice real quickly. So Headmice and head joysticks, whatever you want to call them, are when you're using somebody's head to turn and look, so up and down and left and right, and have it move the cursor if it's a mouse, or move the joystick if you'd like. We use this with the Xbox Adaptive Controller. We use it with Windows, with an iOS device. It doesn't matter. They all can take mice as input. And with people who cannot have the fine motor to work a mouse, one of the best ways to do that would be with your head. Now, there are commercial devices that do this as well. There's one that uses a dot and tracks it with a camera. It's fairly popular. There's also some that are what's called IMU, inertial motion unit based devices. The Glass House, however you say that, is one as well. But we've made ours very simply out of a couple of simple parts. So this is a basic microcontroller. In this case, it is I don't know if it's going to focus for you, an RP2040 in a QT Py format. And then we have here a BNO055 chip. It's upside down, but I'm not going to bother turning it right side up for you. It is this chip right here, which is the BNO055. It's an Adafruit board that gives you access to the Bosch chip right here. And basically, this chip is what's called a 9DOF. It's a 9 degree of freedom sensor. It basically tells you kind of three things. It tells you which way north is, which way down is, and how quickly you're moving in any direction. And when you add those things together, one of the things it can tell you is how much you've turned in any direction. Or your orientation, your rotational orientation in space. So that's what these chips do. And we've got a bunch of different things like this. The Circuit Playground Express has one that doesn't have the magnetometer. It doesn't know which way north is, but it knows which way down is, and it knows how much you're turning, how quickly you're moving. So it can do a lot of the same things. But the 9DOF in here, this is kind of the standard. There's a newer version of this called the BNO055, but this is the one that everybody seems to have. Been around for a while. Costs about $30. It's regularly on sale. You'll see a couple times here. They've put this half price. John Park really likes to make it the product of the week. So I've got a bunch of them around. I would bet that Ron Nelson does as well. So anybody who's got a good head motion but not peripheral motion, this could be a good tool for them. So the reason we started with this screen is I've actually made a video about Headmice, and it shows that we can do it. You see me over there right here with the goofy green glasses. The reason I'm wearing the goofy green glasses is that historically, these need to be oriented this way for them to work effectively. In other words, they have to be parallel to the ground. They shouldn't have to be, but this particular one does. We've never been able to figure out how to get around it, which means that we've always had to place it right here on the top of a pair of eyeglasses and have it kind of level with the ground there. And if we do that, it works. It's worked very well. We've had this for a while. But when we were at Nina Harris a few weeks ago, we tried to use the Headmouse, and it really didn't work. This was especially with the kids with cerebral palsy. They could not deal with the glasses. Either they had glasses of their own, and these were glasses on glasses, or the motion that they had was they would constantly be knocking them off, or it wasn't working. The glasses were not going to work, so we kind of punted with a lot of that. And saw that again recently. I was working with Alyssa Warren with a client of hers, same issue. Needed to be able to make this more inconspicuous and kind of simpler to use. So what we've always wanted to do with this is we really wanted to be able to put this right here, right up against the head, and you can still put on a pair of glasses if you wanted to this way, but you wouldn't have to, right? There's lots of other ways. Lori, my wife Lori, has suggested that we make penny blossoms, which if you're a Big Bang fan, you'll get that. Basically a hair barrette or something. But also we can just do something that, like, we just do a pin. You do literally a piece of tape it to the face, whatever. Or in what I'm going to do, I'm going to be very fashionable in a minute. I'm going to put a headband on, and it'll hold it there. And if it was this way, flush up against the face, nobody's going to knock that loose. Basically, as long as we get the cord out of the way, you can basically move however you want. So this is what we've wanted. And it hasn't worked. I mean, it really has failed a lot. And if you look through the threads on the Adafruit site, a lot of people have had a very hard time getting this sensor to work in any orientation other than straight up or straight down, however you want to look at it. The Z-axis going vertically with perpendicular to the ground. So we needed to fix that, and we did last night. C. Grover on the Discord for Adafruit helped me, and we found this stupid bug, and this is a really ugly bug, and we found a way around it. So first, I want to show you how this works. I'm going to get super fashionable. I'm going to put on my fancy headband. I've actually never been able to rock a headband, and this won't be any different. But we are going to put a headband on and cover this mouse right here so that it does this chip right here. So now that won't move. But you'll see this isn't going to be intrusive or anything. And when I plug this in, let me move this down so you can see this nice big white area where my mouse is. When I plug this in, now when I move my head left, it'll move left and right. Moves right, up, moves up and down, moves down. And basically moving my head just a little bit can move this mouse, right? And it's not tilting my head, it's turning my head. If you want tilt, we can do tilt as well. That's actually easier. It only requires an accelerometer. We have pretty good control. I have pretty good control over this. And people who've used the Headmouse, like Christine Getman used one on a XAC, finds that they work pretty well. In fact, I think they work better as a joystick because you don't really have a target. When you're using it as a joystick, you want to move left, and if you go a little bit over, it's not as big a deal. I guess probably depending on the game that you're playing. But so this completely works right here, and I want to show a little bit about what this was. I'm going to be really geeky here for a minute and show like code and stuff, which I'm sure you all really care about, but there are some people who really do. So the reason this failed, and I mean it failed for a couple of years here, is that we were using this. So let me actually unplug this so the mouse stops moving. So this line right here literally uses the B&O's internal fusion software to calculate the Euler angles, which is basically the pitch, yaw, and roll for your orientation compared to where it was when you turned on the device. So how far have you changed your bearing? In other words, your yaw, how much have you turned? How much have you tilted? In other words, what is your pitch change? And if you want tilt, that is your roll axis, right? So depending on how you're moving, the Euler angles tell you how many degrees you've turned. And that's really what we need to push into the software to do some basic mapping down here and basically say, get the angles, figure out how far they've changed from when we started, and then just do a little bit of mapping to say, all right, if I move, 20 degrees, make that 40, pixels, then I'm moving the mouse, and then just move the mouse. That's really all the code this thing does. There's a little bit of logic in here to have like a dead zone in the middle and things like that, but it's not a lot of code. And all of the bug is in this line right here. So sensor.euler on the BNO055 just has a bug. It's internal to the physical chip. There's nothing we can do about this. Well, there are things we can do about this, but we can't expect this to be fixed. In fact, they've come out with a newer revision that fixes the bug, the BNO055. But we can't expect everybody to go out and get new $30 chips just because there's a bug. What happens is that if you get close to a 90-degree turn, Euler angles always get a little wonky. If you've ever seen Apollo 11 or Apollo 13, whatever it was that went off and missed the moon in Tom Hanks movie, that was based on Euler angles not behaving well when you get close to 90-degree turns. This isn't that. This isn't a matter of Euler angles get poorly behaved and we need to be careful about that. This is about when you move more than about 30 degrees in any direction, the BNO055 just sends you garbage, just sends you bad information. And it's kind of been known. There's been a lot of hints about it on the internet, but not. The answer has always been use quaternions. And all the way back in college, I've always hated quaternions. I would bet there's a dozen people here who are now going to say in the comments eventually. It's a Saturday. Nobody's here right now. But quaternions suck. They are this four-dimension calculation you can use to do rotations. They are more accurate and they're better. And math people love them. Engineers hate them because you can't think about what they mean. It's really easy to understand what an Euler angle means. It's how much roll you have, right? How much pitch you have, how much yaw you have. Quaternions are different. They are a 4-degree point that is the XYZ coordinates and then a scalar to get you onto a unit circle. And your brain can't think this way. So you have to basically switch them into Euler angles for your brain to be able to work anyways. So, but people have just said, oh, just use quaternions and it'll work. Well, I was not going to learn quaternions again to figure out how to make this work, although I tried. And Lori will definitely back me up in that I've spent a colossal amount of time trying to do exactly that. And then I figured out, well, no, we don't have to do that at all. All we have to do, the sensor will give you the quaternion. And there's this nifty 10 lines of math code right here, 15 lines of math code that'll just do the calculation for you. So it will take the quaternion, the 4-dimensional quaternion. It'll do a little bit of trig, find the arctangent, convert it to degrees, and give you back the Euler angles. And if you just do this, if you add this stupid line, all our old code works in any orientation. And that means, much more practically, we can put this on the side of somebody's head, on the back of somebody's head. We can put it in any place that we can place this, right? As long as we know which Euler angle we're going to look at. Like if you want to use tilt for left and right, okay, we'll look at, the roll. We'll look at the roll axis. But we don't have to worry about this stupid bug anymore. And it just works. I'm thrilled about it. It means that our friends at, let's see if I can bring this up. Yeah, so our friends here at Nina Harris, if you saw this post today, so this is our friends at Nina Harris. Let's see if I can do this without hearing this sound or watching an ad. I'm probably going to have to watch an ad. Yeah, so this was on Bay News 9 today, but they recorded it while we were there a couple weeks ago. Michelle Morales is the head of the Mr. Strong Foundation, and we helped them make a adaptive a gaming center. So they call it the Functional Playhouse. But basically, there's me. We are trying to get them to be able to game, and one of the most coveted ways to do that is with a Headmouse. And a lot of the times it wouldn't work. That's Michelle. She's awesome. Michelle will be thrilled with this because we can do this, which is exactly what we wanted when we were doing the test. Tom, my brother-in-law, will be thrilled with this because he'll have a mouse he can use. We will have quite a bit of success with this. So I am happy with this. I couldn't be much more happy with this. We are going to actually feed this back to Adafruit. And I talked to Dan Halbert. We're going to, sorry, you don't need this anymore. Sorry. So we're going to feed this back to Dan and Adafruit and try and get them to just change the way CircuitPython reads it. Have them do exactly that work. It will be a little bit slower, but not measurably. And then all of everybody's code will just work now. So I will be very happy with that. I don't see any questions. I see very few of you joining me, but there are a few. I think Michelle just joined. A couple people are joining. And if you have any questions before I go, let me know now. We are up in North Carolina for the weekend, and then we'll be back down in the Tampa area. So we'll probably go live again next week, maybe with Michelle. Who knows? But thanks, guys, for your attention and for giving a darn about this. And I hope you guys have a great afternoon. As always, good luck and have fun.